finally get the Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin face off. And maybe I wouldn't go as far as electric, but it was definitely entertaining. You can feel the animosity amongst both of them. And give Tank credit. Tank does a very good job of like carrying that with his fights. You know what I'm saying? Like he creates the tension. You know what I mean? It seems like a ticking time bomb at any moment. Something can just go off. Is how it feels when you're watching. But I would say Frank Martin wasn't backing down. He was holding his own. So when you seeing them come face to face, like, how did you feel? Do you feel like, all right, we got to fight here? Or did you kind of feel like, all right, as it seems like a lot of people are feeling, okay, this is cool, but it's only but a matter of time before what we think is going to happen will happen.
Yeah, I mean, me watching the whole presser, it seemed like you can tell that although Frank Martin, he wasn't backing down, he wasn't as comfortable as Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis seemed to be leading the rope here, and kind of, he was talking about, his girl. He's talking about a few things, throwing a few shots. It seemed like he kind of was just spinning Frank Martin in circles, and he seemed very comfortable out there. I think he was in control throughout the press conference, whereas, Frank Martin was kind of like, maybe it might be a situation where Frank Martin is not comfortable talking shit, or he's not comfortable kind of going back and forth with someone. At certain points, I think Frank Martin was a bit too respectful in a way, right? And how, some fighters may treat like Canelo or whatnot. Like it was more so him just trying to defend himself as opposed to him trying to get at Gervonta.
Yeah.
He might have to take a book out of Ryan Garcia's book.
Yeah, page out of Ryan Garcia. Yeah. So, but do you think this comes from, let's say, Frank not necessarily being on this stage before? Like, he hasn't gotten this much press, this much cameras in his face before. Do you think it stems from that, or do you think it stems from, hey, maybe a place of nervousness? Like, hey, I was saying I want this, but now that it's here, I really don't know. And before you go, the reason I asked you this is because obviously we've known each other for a long time, right? But like personality wise, I think we can be completely different. And I'm going to use basketball as an example, right? I think we've played on the court many of times together, but have an equal level of comfort. But you're like a master trash talker, right? You love it. Like, you really get going from talking trash.
Right.
Me, on the other hand, I don't necessarily talk that much trash, but I don't think someone would say, oh, you know what, Rue's out there looking shaky. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm still like super aggressive, super physical, right? But it's just, I don't know. It's just not really it just don't be coming to my mind like, yeah, start talking trash. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, you live off that. You know what I'm saying? You love that situation. So is it that Frank Martin just like, I'm not scared at all? I'm not scared at all. I'm supremely confident. This is just not necessarily my thing. And I haven't really been on this stage before. So like, let's say the media training per se wasn't there to like sell it. You know what I mean? Which situation do you think is more likely that there is some nervousness there, or it's just like, I haven't really done this before?
So I do think, so there's some nervousness in the sense of lack of media training, or like you said, like mentioned, like he just not, that's obvious. Like he just hasn't been on that stage. And, and going back to the analogy that you made, it's kind of like you're the quiet one, right? But you can still read body language, and you can kind of tell like, yo, he's still not, and when you do speak, you're not going to be kind of, stumbling on your words. You're going to be direct. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think with Frank Martin, it just seemed like he kind of was just like, he wasn't scared of Tank Davis at all, but it was more so he was a bit flustered, is what I'm saying, right? Yeah. I was a bit flustered, but it's 100% the bright lights. And they had a conversation even on Gilly's podcast where Gervonta pointed that out. He said, you've never been on the stage. Imagine when you get out there in the bright lights in the ring and see all those individuals that came to watch the fight. Watch how you shake up. You know what I mean? And I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah. And then one thing I would say is, we're going to get to the podcast a little bit more, but one thing I would say is where I think Frank did himself a huge disservice was when he put his hand out there like that and Tank slapped his hand down, to not retaliate, even if you got to push off or do like the NBA fake little, like, I'm gonna rush you, but you know what I'm saying, because it creates that element of I'm not backing down. One, I think it made Tank look at it like, all right, I got him. His reflexes are slow, right? I think, and then two, it probably gave Tank more confidence. Like, all right, look, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got this guy, and I don't necessarily know that he's in Frank Martin's head. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, not create that element of like fight back,
Right.
like you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, or even him, you got the video, let me see. Like, and he's showing him the video. Like, bro, like, I
Yeah.
don't want to see no video. I'd have
Mhm.
slapped the phone out his hand. Like, I don't want to see no video.
Yeah, I want to
Talking
see no
about,
video. See what I'm about to do to you as soon as we get in that.
you. Yeah, I'd have been on Tank. Like, bro, just like he said, you wear the same pants I do. You we the same. You bleed like how I bleed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna treat you
yeah,
as such. You know what I mean?
yeah. I ain't
But I
gonna.
guess it's not in his personality. But you know, I don't know. You got to keep that. Can't be as give him too much respect. You know, in a
Yeah.
way.
You know what was funny to me though, and maybe I'm interpreting this wrong, but Tank, like Tank, and it gets me mad. You know how mad I get when Tank gets on this whole street talking stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when Frank Martin's brother was like, "Yeah, I'm the brother," it didn't really seem like Tank wanted to engage because from what obviously I don't know them, but from what I can gauge just from what was being said, it seems like Frank Martin's brother was in the streets, right? He's the street one, and he
Right.
was able to maybe like help Frank maybe stay away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe him taking the risk. So when he kind of popped up like, yeah, I'm the brother. And Tank like, oh, you the brother? But isn't it? It didn't seem like Tank, and
Yeah, the
obviously not
energy
fighting.
wasn't really as like aggressive.
It
You
was a little
know.
bit different, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Frank
Talking
would take a
about
page out of his brother's book, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Talk about he from the suburbs. It don't matter where he from. If he could
yeah,
fight, he could fight. That ain't gonna help you in the ring. You know what I mean? I hate when Tank
hmm
talk that street shit. Like, come on.
hmm yeah, yeah. But now let's get into the podcast, right? And I think maybe what caught everyone off guard, but if not, at least it caught me off guard because I've never heard anything about this. I've never seen anything to kind of like point in this direction. Errol comes up,
Yep.
right? And Tank's like, yeah, like I ain't rocking with Errol. Like I don't rock with Errol. Errol's been hating on me for years now. And I'm like, whoa. Then I look at Broner's face. Broner doesn't necessarily look on board with what's being said. He looks, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but he's kind of just like, I don't know. Because I think Errol and Broner are still pretty cool. I didn't know Errol and Tank were not cool because from the last thing I heard Errol say about Tank was pre-Crawford fight, and he was, when Tank was locked up, he was just like, "Yo, that's my brother. I wish him the best. Hopefully he learns from this. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like all positivity. So when Tank came out and said that, what were your immediate thoughts?
Man, I was like, whoa. At first, when I first seen it too, because we talked about this, I first seen it, I was like, nah, that's kind of off. Then I seen another interview. I forget what the channel is, but he was doing an interview and Errol Spence's name came up. So the interview asked Gervonta Davis, hey, who are some fighters that, you feel like you can beat? And Gervonta was like, I don't know, name them. And he started naming names, Shakur, Devin. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And he bring up Errol Spence's name. And Gervonta responds with, yeah, but outside the ring. I was like,
Yeah, like would you fight this person? And he said,
like,
yeah, but outside the ring.
I was like, whoa. And then with the Gilly situation, like he's been hitting on me, I was like, oh yeah, something is up.
Yeah,
Something's definitely up between them. And I don't know what it is between those two, but I can tell you this though. Gervonta Tank Davis seems to have a history of being volatile, especially with those around him and having issues. That I just think is just one of those type of situations where they're just having issues at the moment and they'll probably make up later on. But I
yeah.
don't know what
All
caused
right.
it.
So let me ask you this. Let's get into this now. When he says yes, I'll fight Errol, but outside the ring, what's your takeaway from that? Obviously, they fight at completely different weight classes. Errol last fought at welterweight, not 54. Do you think Tank is saying, okay, whatever we got is so serious that we have to it's like no gloves, like it's so deep that we got to really like try to hurt one another? Or do you think it's a matter of I can't beat him in no boxing match?
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Like, is he'll rather fight him. I don't know, man.
In the streets, I'll pick something up and hit, you know what I'm saying?
Hit him. Yeah.
So like what was your interpretation of those words?
At first, the way I interpreted it was, he'd rather fight him outside the ring because the issue that they have is just so bad that it's like, nah, F the ring. F us both getting paid. I want to fight this guy outside of the ring because it's personal now. That's how I interpreted it initially. But then again, I don't know. Because at first I'm like, maybe it's a little bit of trolling involved. But then I'm like, once he starts saying he's been hating on me for years, I was just like, oh, I don't know now. Now I'm like, yeah, it definitely seems like it's something personal, and I'm not sure if they bounce back from it. I would assume they will, right? Just given Tank's history of just going with everyone. He's even gone at AB, Floyd, Truck, Simpson, like,
Yeah,
it's seems
yeah.
to have this, history.
So one thing I'm gonna say is like Bud Crawford is so good that now he's made everybody look like yo Errol. I think like Errol is sweet. You know what I'm saying? I'm so serious, bro. I'm so serious, bro.
Why you say that? Why you say that?
Because I think Errol would still put hands on somebody, bro. But I think the last thing you saw was the Bud Crawford, and I think that replays in everyone's mind, and they're just like, yeah, bro. Gervonta is tough, and Gervonta is nice, right? Super nice, super explosive. Would I say Gervonta is more skilled than Errol? Yeah, but that size difference, I think, man, I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. You know, like Errol might like really like I think break Gervonta down. You know what I mean? And like I said, obviously they're two different weight classes. You know what I mean? But I just the
Yeah.
Bud Crawford
Oh,
making people look like you know what I could like because even Ryan Garcia, bro. I think Errol would kill Ryan Garcia.
yeah, I think he will. Yeah, I think he will break him. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
So imagine Tank, 135-pounder, and now Errol is at 154 pounds. What he would do to him, and even if it's a street fight, right? It's just now you're talking about grabbing folks. Like then
yeah,
it's like okay,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But even though I say that, let me say this. I think this is cap.
Mhm.
I would like to see Errol. I think that'll really be a telling sign. If Errol's on camera and people ask him about it, he's kind of like, "Yo, I don't even know what he's talking about." Then that would signify to me that it's definitely Cap and Tank is selling the fight. Like Tank,
I don't know if it's cap, bro.
I it feels a little capish to me, bro. I would like to see it,
I
but
haven't seen I haven't seen Tank Davis do something like that, and it's cap, bro.
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen it.
He was super volatile with Ryan, right? He was super volatile. It could be up for him, but still, that's the same guy. He's turning around defending and all hugged up on and all hyped about him beating up Devin Haney. So it was like there was never really any real animosity there. You just sold the hell out of the fight.
No, but what I'm saying is because Ryan Garcia is the adversary, right? But Errol Spence is not an adversary. He was someone in your corner, and now you're coming off a limb and, talking like that about Errol Spence. Like,
Yeah,
why would you? Why would you risk that? Like, risk the relationship? I think something happened, and now, and you
you,
can tell by the way he's talking. He's like, I don't care if everyone's against me. If you do me wrong, I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And you can tell. Like, I haven't. I'm just saying, I haven't seen Tank do something like this with someone that he's close with, and it's been cap. Is what I'm saying.
yeah,
So I don't. I wouldn't think it's cap now. You know.
yeah. And this is obviously this is my speculation. This is my assumption. 100% believe Errol picked up the phone and called Tank and said, "Yo, Tank, would you be willing to work something out to fight Frank Martin?" I think that's how this fight came about.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what happened, right? And then this is a telltale sign. So I think that's what happened. They set it up that way, but somewhere along the way in these past several months, something went awry, right? Right? Something went wrong. And you know what was a telltale sign that I know for a fact something's wrong is because what Frank Martin said.
When
Frank
he
Martin
said,
said,
"Y'all
yeah,
definitely not gonna be cool after this fight."
yeah, he said definitely not gonna be cool after this for sure. Continue not to be cool, like you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
Frank know what's up. You know what I mean. I just think something definitely happened between the fight being made to now, where it's like, you know what I mean.
yeah,
And you can tell too, because like even in the presser, remember you sent me that video. What did Tank say? And Tank said, yeah, trainer is about got to get his money. Like Derek James about
yeah.
trying to get his
I
bread.
think he said like basically saying like Derek's not focused on this fight. He's just focused on getting his money. You know what I'm saying? But is he saying that in the regards of like, oh yeah, like Errol's wrong, or is he just saying, man, that's all Derek care about is that money because like that's what circle.
I mean, based off of the other two videos, I'm gonna assume it's because of the Errol situation. Now, at first, I thought it was just like he's about it, and in the way he was talking to Derek James as well during the Gilly and Thing podcast, like he was showing respect to Derek James. So I would presume it was now it's more with Spence. You know what I
I
mean? So
I mean I guess we got to see Errol, and at some point in time we're gonna see Errol.
Yeah,
At some point in
we
time.
gonna see Errol. Do you think Errol will say? Errol's one of those guys though. He won't even in the interview. He's not even gonna say much. He's gonna like,
No, I don't think he's gonna say much. But all right, let me ask you this now. Let's say they're on stage, right? The Bernard Hopkins situation. Bernard touched Tank or something, right? So let's say they're in that close proximity. Do you think Tank will check Errol's temperature?
I don't think he'll check Errol's temperature. I think it'll be more so he may just react. If like if Errol Spence was like to grab Tank be like, yo, get off me. May not be as aggressive compared to Bernard, right? But I think he'll try to
Why?
like, because he know what Errol Spence is gonna do to him. He know. I think it's just one of those things like Tank maybe beefing with Spence, but I think there's a sense of confidence and ego when the person's not in the room with you. You know what I mean? And we
Mhm.
see it happen time and time again. People like that, like Tank when he go crazy on Twitter or whatnot, right? He may talk crazy, but like when the person's in the room with him, he knows he may be more weary, like, okay, I
Like
can't.
he's never like ran down on Floyd like that.
Yeah, like he never ran down on Floyd, or like when he had the issue with the Charlo brothers. Remember years back, and it was getting at him and Adrian Broner, and they just
I'm,
stood there.
I'm dudes big.
And
Them
them
dudes
niggas,
is
and
big.
they knew, yeah, this
Dudes,
was gonna beat the brakes off both of them. But
dudes is big, yo.
yeah, so they just knew, like, oh yeah, it's you know what I mean. So it
Yeah,
could be one of those type of situations. But I think also Tank is definitely probably at a stage where he's feeling himself. He's like, I'm the face of boxing. Nobody
yeah.
can tell me nothing. Not and Spence, you've been hating on. You're not on my level. I don't think Spence is hating, right? I just think
Tank,
it's Tank's ego speaking.
yeah, Tank's really come out of his shell because Tank, like even just the way he is on stage, you know what I'm saying? You can just tell the level of comfort there. But that's why I think it's kind of to use the words of my man Kendrick Lamar, I think Tank's a master manipulator. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a master manipulator, and I think he's kind of just playing the game right now. But it'll be interesting, 'cause like you said, like Tank, he does seem genuine, you know what I'm saying? He does like this is really how he feels, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it'll be interested to see when Errol's on stage helping promote Frank to kind of see what it is. And obviously, I don't want to take away from the fight between Frank and Tank because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. But this is just very interesting. Like I said, Tank can be very volatile. We see them try to like blow up on Bernard. And I don't think there's going to be a situation where Errol needs to touch Tank for any reason, you know what I'm saying? But it'll be interested to see if he tries to, like I said, check his temperature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just now, it seems him and Haney crossed paths, and it seemed like he was trying to check Haney's temperature at the club. Did you see that video?
No, I did not. I gotta watch that.
Yeah, bro. I mean, obviously there was some entourage in between, but I think Tate saw him, and they were kind of yapping back and forth, and then eventually you kind of see Haney like getting in the car. I don't think Bill was there. I don't think Bill was there, so I think that kind of forced Haney to have to kind of talk for himself. You know what I mean?
Yikes, yikes. Yeah, he's not doing that with Errol. I don't know if it's because of the history he has with Errol, but
Yeah,
I don't think he would do that with Errol. And I wonder if Errol would even show up to the final presser, right?
I
Because
think
he didn't show up to this one, and I would expect him to show up to this one.
it.
So maybe
It
he will, maybe he won't. I don't know.
it depends. I'm not gonna make this video about Arrow, but it depends what he has going on. I think at some point in time, you know what, it may be the Derek James. Maybe legally they can't be around each other right now.
Probably. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's Derek James, maybe.
Because I feel like he would show up to support Frank, but maybe legally they can't be around each other right now.
Yeah,
I
yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, and I know Clarissa jumped in a little bit. I know her and Tank got their little feud going back and forth. I know she was kind of like F Tank too. Do you make anything of that, or it's kind of like whatever, Clarissa?
Clarissa she be on the white talking about she gonna not keep Thurman out, but outside the point, yeah, no, I think she it's just Tank, bro. I mean, bro, we the behavior. I mean, we see the trend, So I don't know what to really make out of it. Clearly she's not messing with Tank right now, but and she's actually rooting for Frank Martin. That's the funny part, but I don't know. We have to wait and see, man.
Yeah. So can Frank do anything to change your mind leading up to before the fight? That all right, nah, not necessarily that you're gonna pick him, but you're confident that like, all right, nah, this dude's coming to lay it all out on the line in this fight.
I think he needs to. I think he needs to switch gears. He can be himself, but don't show too much respect to Tank. That's you know what I mean. Like don't especially with the Gilly podcast, you can tell he really was like it was just too much respect. Like yeah, you that guy, but I'm. It was more so like him like defending himself. Like the perfect analogy is, when you see a bully, there's person A, then there's person B, and you have the bully, right? And the bully confronts person A, and person A is more so like, he has his book bag. The bully comes, try to snatch his book bag, and person A is just grabbing his book bag, like stop, pushing him, like stop, I don't want to fight. Or he drops, he's like, yo, touch me. Like it's one of those situations versus person B, once the bully kind of comes to start pushing up on him, person B just cracks him. You know what I mean? And then they start fighting, right? I think I need Frank Martin to transition from person A to person B.
Okay.
I think that's the vibe I'm getting from Frank Martin. Like he's just kind of just showing too much respect, and he's kind of like just defending himself, just saying, trying to prove to himself, I ain't scared. I'm a fighter too. This is what it is. And allowing Frank to keep, trying to, poke his chest up and saying all this, acting like he's a fucking gang member, right, from the streets. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
You're a boxer.
I feel that. So, let's see how it goes. Obviously, they're going to have to get together a few more times before the fight actually comes up. Tank's been real cool with David Benavidez. That's neither here nor there, but he seems to really mess with David Benavidez.
Yeah.
But definitely jump in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Is Frank being too respectful? Is he nervous? I hate disrespecting boxers, but do you think he's a little scared or maybe fearful of this situation? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Are you looking forward to probably seeing Errol show up to see the interaction between Errol and Tank? Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. 2 cents short of $1, and we out.